The scent of lye and beeswax is the scent of my life. It clings to my clothes, my hair, my skin. It is the perfume of the invisible, the aroma of a girl who spends her days on her knees, scrubbing away the grime of a kingdom that does not see her. Here, in the great stone heart of the Blackwood Pack, I am less than a ghost. I am a Lara, a wolfless orphan, a charity case taken in by the late Alpha King, and now tolerated by his son, the new king. My world is one of polished floors, reflecting a life I can never have, of the hushed gossip of other servants, of the constant, aching emptiness in my chest where a wolf should be. Sometimes, when Alpha King Kalen passes, the air itself changes. It becomes thick, charged, heavy with the scent of winter storm, crushed pine, and undisputed power. It is a scent that makes every instinct I do not have scream in submission. It makes the other maids sigh and swoon, but it makes me shrink. His presence is a physical weight, a reminder of the chasm between us. He is the sun, and I am a shadow he will never notice, scuttling along the baseboards of his world. I keep my head down, my eyes fixed on the worn bristles of my brush. To be seen is to be judged, and to be judged is to be found wanting. Invisibility is my only shield. My hands are raw, my knees ache, but I am grateful for the work. Gratitude is a lesson beaten into the packless. Be grateful for the scraps. Be grateful for the roof. Be grateful you are not outside the walls, where the feral and the forgotten starve. So I scrub, and I stay quiet, and I ignore the hollow space inside me that yearns for something more. It is a foolish, dangerous yearning. Here, worth is measured in strength, in lineage, in the power of the beast within. I have none of these. All I have is the burn of lie and the scent of my own insignificance. Tonight is the annual mating gala, a night of glittering fantasy for the high-born wolves of the allied packs. For me, it is a night of extra work, spilled wine, dropped food, the endless cycle of cleaning up after my betters. I am not meant to be in the grand ballroom, but a clumsy beta dropped a full tray of crystal goblets in the west corridor, and I have been sent to clear the mess. The music is a muffled pulse through the thick oak doors, a heartbeat for a life that is not mine. I kneel, carefully picking up the larger shards of glass, the sound of my own breathing loud in the relative quiet of the hall. The distant music swells as a door opens and closes, and then the air shifts. The scent hits me first. Winter storm and pine, so potent it steals the breath from my lungs. Alpha King Kalen. I freeze, my fingers hovering over a sliver of crystal. Do not look up. Do not be seen. But it is too late. The scent is not just passing by. It is drawing closer, wrapping around me, sinking into me. It is not just a scent. It is a call, a demand, a key turning a lock I never knew existed. A strange, dormant part of my soul, a thing I have never felt before, stirs from its long slumber. It unfurls like a fist, and a single, primal word echoes through the silent chambers of my mind. Mate. The thought is so alien, so impossible, it feels like a madness. My head snaps up against my will. His eyes, the color of molten silver, are locked on mine. The bored arrogance he usually wears is gone, replaced by a raw, animal shock. He has stopped breathing. I can see the rigid line of his shoulders, the way his hands have clenched into fists at his sides. The world narrows to the space between us. The air crackles with an energy that is both terrifying and beautiful. It is the collision of two souls who have been searching for each other since the beginning of time. In his eyes, I see a reflection of my own disbelief, but I also see the truth, the undeniable, soul-shattering truth of the bond. For the first time in my life, I do not feel hollow. That empty space inside me is suddenly, miraculously full. Hope, a feeling so foreign it hurts, blooms in my chest, a brilliant, painful flower. He is my mate. The Alpha King is my mate. This moment feels like a sunrise after a lifetime of darkness. Surely this changes everything. Surely the fates would not be so cruel as to show me heaven only to snatch it away. He takes a half step toward me, his lips parted as if to speak my name. The sound is lost as the ballroom doors burst open, spilling light and noise and the scent of 100 other wolves into our sacred space. One of his council members, a stern-faced alpha named Valerius, strides out. Your Majesty, the alpha of the Crimson Fang Pack awaits his introduction. Kalen tears his gaze from mine, and the spell is broken. He blinks, and a mask of cold composure slams down, hiding the shock, hiding the recognition. He glances at me, then at the mess of broken glass on the floor. His eyes sweep over my worn servant's dress, my chapped hands, my dirt-smudged cheek. I see the calculation replace the wonder. I see the dawning horror not of finding his mate, but of who his mate is. The hope in my chest withers, turning to ice. The warmth vanishes, replaced by a familiar gnawing dread. He turns his back on me without a word and follows Valerius back into the ballroom. The heavy doors boom shut, leaving me alone in the corridor with the shattered glass and the ghost of a scent that promised me the world. The silence he leaves behind is louder than any rejection. My inner beast, so new and fragile, whimpers in confusion and pain. Mate? An hour passes, then two. I finish cleaning the glass, my movements stiff and robotic. My heart is a stone in my chest. Every time the ballroom doors open, I flinch, expecting, I do not know what I expect. For him to come back, to drag me into the light and claim me, to drag me into the shadows and silence me. The uncertainty is a torture of its own. Then, a royal guard approaches. He does not meet my eyes. The Alpha King requests your presence in the Great Hall. His voice is flat, devoid of emotion. My blood runs cold. This is it. I follow him, my legs unsteady. My patched leather shoes make no sound on the marble floors. I feel like a lamb being led to slaughter. The guard leads me to the dais where Kalen sits on his throne. The music has stopped. The entire assembly, hundreds of powerful wolves from every corner of the continent, is silent. They are all watching me. Their collective stare is a physical weight, pressing down on me, suffocating me. I see contempt in their eyes, curiosity, amusement. I am a piece of dirt on a pristine carpet, a flaw in their perfect, glittering world. Kalen looks down at me from his throne. His face is carved from ice. There is no trace of the man who looked at me in the corridor. No hint of the bond that flared between us. Approach, he commands, his voice ringing with royal authority. I walk forward, my gaze fixed on the floor. I stop at the foot of the dais. The silence is absolute, broken only by the crackling of the great hearth. I can feel the first, sharp sting of the bond's neglect, a needle of pain behind my ribs. It has come to my attention, he begins, his voice booming through the hall, that this servant believes she has some claim on me. A murmur ripples through the crowd. My head jerks up, my eyes wide with shock. This is not what I expected. This is a public execution. She is wolfless, a nameless orphan, scum clinging to the boots of this pack out of pity. Each word is a lash. The pain from the bond intensifies, a tearing sensation, as if a part of my soul is being ripped away. I want to scream, to deny it, to tell them what I saw in his eyes. But my throat is closed, paralyzed by shock and shame. He stands, looming over me. The full force of his alpha power crashes down, forcing me to my knees. "Let it be known," he snarls, his voice dropping to a growl that vibrates through the very stones of the castle. I, Alpha King Kalin of the Blackwood Pack, reject this wolfless servant as my mate. I reject this bond. I reject her. A collective gasp echoes through the hall, followed by a wave of cruel laughter and jeering. The bond does not just sting now, it shatters. The pain is a physical agony, a white-hot knife twisting in my chest. A scream is torn from my throat, a sound of pure, animalistic torment. It feels as if my heart is being ripped from my body. My inner beast, the fragile, hopeful thing, howls in despair. A death cry in the ruins of my soul. Rejected, broken, alone. I collapse onto the cold floor, clutching my chest, gasping for air that will not come. Through the haze of my pain, I see him look away, his jaw tight. He did not just reject me. He eviscerated me. He took the most sacred thing our people know and turned it into a weapon to destroy me in front of the entire world. But his cruelty is not yet satisfied. He motions to his guards. She used some sort of trickery, some low magic, to create a false echo of the bond. She sought to trap me, to elevate her station through deception. His voice is cold, righteous. He is painting me as a villain, a conniver, to justify his monstrous act. Such ambition must be cooled. 2 guards haul me to my feet. My legs will not support me. I am limp in their grasp, a broken doll. "Take her outside the castle gates," Kalin commands, his silver eyes devoid of any light. "Let the storm wash away her pathetic enchantments. She will spend the night in the rain." The crowd roars its approval. They are drunk on the drama, on the humiliation of someone so far beneath them. The guards drag me from the hall, past the smirking faces of the nobles, past the pitying and fearful eyes of the other servants. They do not take me to my small room in the servants' quarters. They drag me through the kitchens, out a service door, and toward the main gates. The wind howls outside, a promise of the tempest to come. The guards open the heavy iron gates just enough to shove me through. I stumble and fall into the mud and gravel of the road beyond. The gates slam shut behind me with a sound of absolute finality. I am cast out, exiled. The cold, heavy drops of rain begin to fall, plastering my thin servant's dress to my skin, soaking into my bones. I lie in the mud, the rain turning from a drizzle to a torrential downpour. Each drop is like a frozen needle. The wind whips around me, stealing what little warmth I have left. But the cold is nothing compared to the agony inside me. The severed bond is a gaping, bleeding wound in my soul. It is a constant, relentless tearing, a physical pain, so immense I can barely think through it. My wolf, or whatever it was that woke inside me, is silent now. I think he may have killed it. Hours pass. I lose track of time. The world is a blur of freezing rain, howling wind, and a pain that has become the entirety of my existence. My body shivers violently, then the shivering begins to slow, a dangerous sign. I am so cold, so tired. It would be easy to just close my eyes, to let the cold and the pain take me, to just stop. Death feels like a mercy. It feels like peace. My body is giving up. My breathing is shallow. The darkness at the edge of my vision is creeping in, soft and inviting. I am dying. He has killed me. In the dregs of my consciousness, I remember the hope I felt for a fleeting moment. What a fool I was. A stupid, naive fool. Then, something shifts. Amidst the soul-crushing agony of the rejection, a different sensation makes itself known. It is not pain. It is a deep, rolling wave of nausea, a strange and unfamiliar cramping deep in my belly. It is a flicker of warmth, impossibly small, in the frozen landscape of my body. It is a spark of life that is not my own. And with it comes a whisper from that same deep, inner place the word mate came from. But this word is different. It is not a question or a discovery. It is a statement of fact, a fierce, protective declaration. Pup. The word cuts through the fog of pain and cold. Pup, a pup, our pup. I am pregnant. The realization is not a joy. It is a horror. I am carrying the child of the man who just tried to murder me, the man who cast me out to die in a storm. But the horror is swiftly followed by something else, something I have never felt before. A ferocious primal instinct. Protect. I have to protect the tiny, innocent life inside me. My life is worthless, but this one is not. This life is a reason. This life is a fire in the frozen wasteland of my despair. I cannot die. I will not die. For the pup, the choice is made. Survival. I force my numb, frozen fingers to move. I dig them into the mud, my nails breaking against the gravel. I drag myself forward an inch at a time. My body screams in protest. The pain of the bond flares, trying to pull me back into oblivion. But the thought of the pup is a shield against it. I crawl toward a dark shape at the side of the road, a cluster of large rocks that might offer some small shelter from the wind. My arm gives out. I collapse against the largest boulder, my cheek pressed to the cold, wet stone. I have no strength left. I push against the rock, a futile gesture, trying to wedge myself into a less exposed position. As my palm presses against the stone, a faint, silvery light shimmers around my hand for a bare second. It is gone as quickly as it appeared, a trick of the rain and the darkness. I am too delirious to register it, too focused on the one single thought that has become my world. Live. I have to live. 3 years later, the scent of lye and beeswax is a distant, bitter memory. Now my life smells of damp earth, pine needles, and the wild, clean scent of the whisperwood. This forest, feared by most shifters as a place of outcasts and lost souls, has become my sanctuary. I am no longer Ilara, the wolfless maid. Here, among the packless, I am Lumia, the one who brings the light. The first few months after my exile were a living nightmare. I survived that night, crawling into a shallow cave as dawn broke, my body a wreck of hypothermia and heartbreak. I was found by an old woman, a healer named Morwen, who lived as a recluse deep in the woods. She saved me. She tended to my broken body and, more slowly, to my shattered spirit. It was Morwen who told me what I was. "You are not wolfless, child," she had said, her voice like the rustling of dry leaves. She had examined my hand, where that strange light had flickered. "You are a lunar wolf, a child of the moon, a strain we thought had vanished from the world 1,000 years ago." My power was not in the shift, not in tooth and claw. It was in the moon, in the silver light that was my birthright. Morwen taught me that my ancestors did not transform into beasts, but commanded the very energies of the night. The pregnancy was perilous. The rejected bond was a constant poison, weakening me, trying to kill both me and the life I carried. I fought it every day, my nascent power a flickering candle against a hurricane. I gave birth in Morwen's tiny hut during a full moon, a son with a tuft of dark hair and eyes the color of molten silver. I named him Liam, my light. As Liam grew, so did my power. I learned to draw down the moonlight, to weave it into threads of healing energy, to soothe the fevers of the sick and mend the broken bones of the injured. I learned to listen to the whispers of the forest, the language of the trees and the beasts. My wolf was not a physical form, but a shimmering spirit of silver light that walked beside me in my mind, a silent, powerful companion who had awakened fully with the birth of my son. The pain of the bond never truly left. It settled into a dull, permanent ache in my soul, a constant reminder of my wound. But it no longer had the power to destroy me. My greatest power was discovered the day a feral wolf, crazed with hunger, stumbled upon the clearing where Liam was playing. It lunged for him. I did not have time to think. I threw myself in front of my son, and something inside me broke free. A wave of pure, silver energy erupted from me, slamming into the feral and sending it flying. The light was blinding, and when it faded, the crazed wolf was gone, and the clearing was filled with a profound sense of peace. That was the day I understood the strength I held. It was not the brute force of an alpha, but something quieter, older, and perhaps more powerful. Word of the ghost queen with the healing hands and the silver light spread through the whisperwood. The outcasts, the exiles, the wolfless, the shifters who had been broken by their packs, they began to find me. They were drawn not to a ruler, but to a protector. They did not bow to me. They stood with me. We built a community, a sanctuary in the heart of the wild. We are the APAC of the Packless, and they call me Lumia. I did not seek this leadership, but I have accepted it. For them, and for my son, I have become strong. I am no longer a victim cowering in the rain. I am a queen in my own right, forged in pain and reborn in power. And I have not thought of the man with the silver eyes in a long, long time. Or so I tell myself. My son sits before me, carefully stacking smooth river stones. He is small for his age, but his eyes, those impossible silver eyes, are full of a quiet wisdom. He hums a little tune as he works, a melody the wind taught him. My heart aches with a love so fierce, it is almost a pain. He is my world. He is the reason I am no longer broken. He is worth every scar. My name is Kalen, and I am a king rotting on his throne. It has been 3 years since that night. 3 years since I destroyed my own soul. I sit in my study, the scent of old paper and stale wine my only company. The crown feels heavy on my brow, a circlet of shame. I am the Alpha King of the most powerful kingdom on the continent, and I am the weakest man I know. My wolf has not spoken a single coherent word to me since that night. He is a constant, snarling presence in the back of my mind, a beast of pure rage and self-loathing directed entirely at me. Fool, he spits, the word a shard of ice in my thoughts. Coward, you broke us. You threw away our sun and our moon and our stars. She is gone, gone, and it is your fault. Sleep is a stranger to me. When I do drift off, I dream of the rain. I dream of her face, pale and shocked in the torchlight of the great hall. I wake up with the ghost of her scream echoing in my ears. I have tried to move on. My council, led by Valerius, has pushed countless highborn females on me. They smell of cloying perfume and ambition. Their touch is repulsive. The scent of any female who is not her is a nauseating poison. My wolf retches at the thought. There can be no other. The bond, though I rejected it with all the formal power of my station, is not gone. It is a phantom limb, a constant grinding ache deep in my bones. It is a hollow space that can never be filled. I feel her absence like a physical wound that will not heal. I told myself I did it for my kingdom, that a wolfless, low-born mate would have been a weakness, an invitation for my rivals to challenge me. I told myself it was my duty. But my wolf knows the truth. It was pride. It was fear. I saw the fates hand me a perfect divine gift, and I was too much of a coward to accept it. I have heard whispers, travelers' tales of a community of outcasts in the Whisperwood, led by a so-called ghost queen who can heal with a touch. I dismissed them as fanciful stories. The Whisperwood is a place of death and desperation, not miracles. My mate is gone. I cast her out. I sentenced her to death. The guilt of that is a stone I will carry to my grave. The kingdom is stable. My power is absolute. But every day I am dying a little more inside. I am a king of ashes, ruling over a wasteland of my own making. A new complication has arisen, one that even my suffocating regret cannot ignore. Reports are trickling in from the borderlands. Shadow creatures, things of nightmare we call the Umbra, are stirring. They have not been seen in centuries, but they are back. They feed on life, on magic, and they leave nothing but dead, gray dust in their wake. They are moving slowly, inexorably, toward the heartlands, toward my kingdom. My alphas are strong, but they are divided by old rivalries. We are not ready for a war like this. The kingdom I sacrificed my soul to protect is now threatened, and I feel a cold dread that I am not the man I need to be to save it. Here in the Whisperwood, we feel the coming darkness too. The forest is uneasy. The animals are restless. The very air feels thin and cold. The Umbra are more than just a rumor to us. My scouts have seen them at the edge of our territory, shadowy forms that drain the color and life from the trees they pass. It is because of this threat that a visitor has come to our sanctuary. His name is Lysander, Alpha of the Sunstone Pack from the desert lands to the south. He is not like the wolves I grew up fearing. His power is not a storm, but the steady, unwavering heat of the sun. He is tall and broad, with skin the color of warm bronze and eyes like polished gold. He came seeking an alliance, having heard tales of our community and the strange power that protects it. He does not treat me like a ghost or a myth. He treats me like an equal. He looks at me, and he sees Lumia, leader of her people. He does not see a broken servant. His gaze is direct, full of respect and a gentle curiosity that does not feel invasive. "Your people are strong," he said, his voice a low, pleasant rumble. "You have built a home from the world's cast-offs. That is a greater feat than inheriting a throne." He is good with Liam. He does not flinch at my son's silver eyes. He crouches down to speak with him, man to man, about the shapes of clouds and the best stones for skipping. Liam, who is usually so shy around strangers, seems at ease with him. My inner self, my silent silver wolf, watches Lysander with a calm, assessing gaze. It does not sing for him the way it sang for Kalen, but it does not snarl. It recognizes the goodness in him, the quiet strength. Lysander offers us sanctuary in his lands, a permanent and safe home, protected by his warriors. "You would not be my subjects," he clarifies, his golden eyes sincere. You would be my allies. Your people would have a home, and my people would be honored to have your light among us. It is a tempting offer. It is everything I have ever wanted: safety, acceptance, a future for my son free from the shadows of the past. He represents a life where I am not defined by my wounds, where I am valued for the woman I have become. It is the logical choice, the safe choice. And yet, when I look at him, my heart is quiet. It is my head that tells me this is right. The ache in my soul, the phantom pain of the broken bond, remains unchanged. It is a dull, constant reminder that my heart is not truly my own to give. The threat of the Umbra grows worse. They are no longer just skirting the edges of the territories. They have begun to attack small, outlying villages, and the reports are grim. They are faster and stronger than anticipated. Kalen has done what I never thought he would. He has called a grand council of all the alphas, even the neutral territories and the outcast clans. He is seeking to forge a continent-wide alliance. Lysander receives the summons. He looks at me, the royal scroll in his hand. He cannot hope to fight this threat without all of us, and that includes you, Lumia. The power you wield could be the key to turning the tide. The thought of returning to that place, to the Blackwood Castle, makes my blood run cold. The thought of seeing him again is like pressing on a fresh wound. No, I say, the word sharp. We are safe here. We will protect our own. For how long? Lysander counters gently. The Umbra are drawn to power, Lumia. They will come for you. They will come for your son. Your sanctuary will become their primary target. You cannot hide from this war. You must face it. He is right. Hiding in my forest, pretending the past does not exist, is a cowardice I thought I had left behind. My people are looking to me. My son's future depends on the choices I make now. I will go, I say, my voice tight, but I will go as the sovereign leader of the Whisperwood community, not as a supplicant, not as who I was. He would not dare see you as anything less, Lysander says, though I see a flicker of doubt in his own eyes. He does not know the depths of Kalen's pride or the cruelty he is capable of. We travel for a week, my small retinue of guards and me, joining Lysander's much larger contingent. The closer we get to the Blackwood lands, the more the old ache in my soul sharpens into a piercing pain. The bond, dormant for so long, is stirring, sensing his proximity. My silver wolf paces restlessly in my mind. Enemy, mate, pain. The castle looms on the horizon, a jagged silhouette against a gray sky. It looks exactly the same, a fortress of my deepest trauma, but I am not the same. I pull my cloak's deep hood over my head, shadowing my face. I am not the girl who was thrown out into the rain. I am the storm now. We are escorted into the great hall, the very room where my life was shattered. It is filled with alphas and their retinues, a sea of power and arrogance. And there, on the dais, on the throne of my nightmares, sits Kalen. He looks older, thinner. There are shadows under his eyes that were not there before. He is speaking, his voice carrying the same authority, but there is a brittle edge to it, a weariness that runs bone deep. Lysander steps forward. Alpha King Kalen, he announces, his voice ringing with power. I have brought another ally, Lumia, protector of the Whisperwood. Kalen falters mid-sentence as we enter. The air in the room, already thick with tension, becomes electric. Even with my face hidden, even across the vast expanse of the hall, the bond explodes back to life. It is not the gentle recognition from the corridor 3 years ago. It is a violent, brutal collision. The scent of him, winter storm and pine, and a new, sharp note of agonizing regret slams into me, and I gasp. The pain in my soul is no longer an ache. It is a raw, open wound again, screaming with a proximity it cannot comprehend. Mate. Here. Pain. Ours. His head snaps in our direction. His silver eyes, haunted and weary, scan our party. They pass over me, then snap back, widening in disbelief. He cannot see my face, but he can feel it. He can feel me. The bond, a tormented bridge between us, shrieks with agonizing energy. My wolf howls in my mind, a symphony of fury and longing. With a steady hand, I reach up and push back my hood. The gasp Kaelin chokes on is audible in the sudden dead silence of the hall. Every alpha turns to stare. I see confusion on their faces, then dawning recognition on the few who were present for my humiliation. Kaelin's face drains of all color, leaving it a waxy, bloodless mask of horror. He looks like he has seen a ghost, and perhaps he has. The ghost of the girl he tried to destroy. The pain of the bond flares to an unbearable intensity, a shared agony that makes my knees want to buckle. I lock my gaze on his, and for the first time in 3 years, I let him see me. I let him see the ice in my eyes. I let him see the woman I have become. And I feel a cold, grim satisfaction at the utter devastation on his face. The great hall is so quiet, I can hear the frantic, panicked rhythm of Kaelin's heart, a frantic drumbeat carried to me on the current of our broken bond. He cannot speak. He can only stare, his silver eyes wide with a mixture of emotions so potent I can almost taste them. Shock, guilt, and a desperate, drowning hope that makes my stomach turn. I break the silence. My voice does not shake. It is as cold and clear as a winter morning. I am Lumia of the Whisperwood. My people have seen the Umbra. They are a threat to us all. We will join this alliance, but we will do so as equals, our sovereignty respected. I address the entire room, but my words are a blade aimed directly at him. I am not the girl he cast aside. I am a power he must now bargain with. A murmur goes through the assembled alphas. They look from me to their stunned king and back again. The story of his public rejection of a wolfless maid was infamous. To see me here now, radiating a quiet but undeniable power, with the formidable Alpha Lysander at my side, has thrown them all into confusion. I walk to the seat Lysander has claimed for our delegation, my back straight, my head held high. I do not look at Kaelin again, but I feel his gaze burning into me. I feel his torment as if it were my own, a bitter and unwelcome echo through the bond. The meetings are a special kind of hell. I speak of strategy, of the Umbra's movements, of my people's unique skills in tracking and reconnaissance in the wild. I am articulate, calm, and authoritative. I am everything a queen should be. And through it all, I treat Kaelin with the polite, detached distance one affords a stranger. During a recess, he tries to approach me. I see him coming, weaving through the crowd of alphas, his eyes locked on me with a desperate intensity. Lysander sees him too, and places a subtle, protective hand on the small of my back. The gesture is small, but Kaelin sees it. He flinches as if struck. "Alara?" he says, his voice rough, broken. The name is a ghost on his lips. I turn to him slowly. The ice in my gaze could freeze fire. "It is Lumia now," I say, my voice dangerously soft. "And you will address me as such, Your Majesty." We are in a professional council, not a back alley for you to dispose of your trash. The color that had returned to his face vanishes again. He takes a half step back, the pain in his eyes so raw it is almost obscene. I, I did not know, he stammers. I thought you were dead? I finish for him, a bitter smile touching my lips. I am aware. You were quite clear in your intentions. I turn my back on him and walk away, leaving him standing there, broken and exposed in the middle of his own court. Later that day, from the window of the chambers I have been assigned, I see him in the courtyard below. He is watching Liam, who is chasing a butterfly near the rose bushes, his laughter bright and clear in the afternoon air. Liam stumbles and falls, and for a moment, his face is turned toward Kaylin's vantage point. The sun catches the impossible silver of his eyes. I see Kaylin stagger. I see him grip the stone balustrade, his knuckles white. I do not need the bond to feel the wave of cataclysmic realization that hits him. He looks from Liam's eyes up toward my window, his face a mask of utter agony. Pup. The word is not a whisper in my mind this time. It is a scream in his. It is a truth that has just landed on him with the force of a mountain, bearing him in the full, horrific weight of what he did. He did not just try to kill his mate. He tried to kill his mate while she was carrying his child, his only child. The realization does not just break him, it annihilates him. The War Council becomes an exercise in exquisite torture. For him, and for me. I am forced into close proximity with the source of my deepest pain, the bond between us a live wire, humming with agony and a terrible magnetic pull. He is forced to see me, alive and powerful. He is forced to see the son he never knew he had. And worse, he is forced to see that son look to another man for a smile, for guidance. Lysander is a constant, calming presence at my side. He treats me with a gentle reverence that is a stark contrast to Kaylin's stormy desperation. He speaks to Liam. He makes him laugh. He treats him with the easy affection of a man who is genuinely fond of him, and I watch Kaylin watch them. The jealousy that rolls off him is a palpable thing, a toxic fume that poisons the air. It is a bitter, satisfying justice, but it does nothing to soothe the turmoil in my own heart. One evening, after a particularly grueling session, he corners me in a deserted corridor. It is not the same corridor as before, but the ghosts are there all the same. I expect anger, demands, the arrogance of a king. Instead, I met with a man utterly defeated. Lumia, he says, his voice hoarse. He uses my new name. It is a concession, a sign of respect he has never shown me. He does not step closer. He keeps a careful distance. I don't have the words. There are no words for what I did. I stay silent, my arms crossed over my chest, my expression a frozen mask. I don't expect you to forgive me, he continues, his gaze fixed on the floor. I don't deserve it. I will never deserve it. I was a fool. I was a coward, ruled by pride and the whispers of lesser men. I threw away the single greatest gift the goddess ever gave anyone, and I have paid for it every second of every day for 3 years. He finally looks up, and his eyes are swimming with unshed tears. My wolf has not spoken to me since that night. My soul is a wasteland. This is not an excuse. It is a confession. It is the consequence I have earned. He takes a shaky breath. And our son, Liam, he has my eyes. The words are barely a whisper. When I cast you out, I didn't know. Goddess, I swear I didn't know. That doesn't make it better. It makes it so much worse. I just, I needed you to know that I see it all now, the full scope of my crime. I ask for nothing, not your forgiveness, not your acceptance, not a place in his life. I just needed you to hear me say it. I am sorry. I am so, so sorry for the pain I caused you. He turns and walks away, leaving me trembling in the empty hall. His words were not a manipulation. They were the raw, unvarnished truth of a broken man taking full accountability. It does not erase the past. It does not heal the wound. But it is a crack in the ice I have built around my heart. And that terrifies me more than anything. I am standing on the battlements, looking out at the darkening woods, when Lysander joins me. He stands beside me in comfortable silence for a long moment, watching the stars begin to appear. He spoke to you, he says, not a question. I nod, not trusting my voice. You are the storm, Lumia, he says softly, turning to face me. And he is the shipwreck. I see the way you look at each other. The bond between you, even broken, is more powerful than anything I could ever offer. His golden eyes are kind, but filled with a sad resignation. I came to you seeking an ally, and I found a queen. My offer still stands. My lands will always be a safe harbor for you and for Liam, no matter what you choose. He reaches out and gently touches my cheek, his touch warm and respectful. But you have a reckoning to face here. He is your fate. A cruel one, perhaps, but yours all the same. And I will not stand in the way of that. I will not be a second choice for a woman who deserves to be chosen first. He bows his head to me, a gesture of profound respect. I am your ally, Lumia, your friend, always. But your heart has a home it must return to, even if only to burn it to the ground. You deserve to make that choice on your own terms. With that, he turns and leaves me alone, with the wind and the stars and the terrible, tumultuous truth of his words. He has gracefully, nobly stepped aside, leaving me with no buffer, no shield against the agonizing pull of my own broken heart. The sky breaks that night. A furious, lashing rain begins to fall, accompanied by howling winds and the distant rumble of thunder. It is the same kind of storm. The memory of the cold, the mud, the despair rises in me like a bile. In the castle, alarms begin to blare. Shouts echo from the courtyard. They are here. The Umbra have attacked, using the cover of the storm. I race from my room, my silver wolf awake and snarling in my mind. Protect the pup. I find Liam with his designated guard, his small face pale with fear. I scoop him into my arms. The castle is in chaos. The fighting is fierce in the outer bailey. The Umbra are like living shadows, flowing over the walls, their touch draining the life from the guards they swarm. Their screeches are a dissonant harmony with the thunder. A dark, cloying scent fills the air, a smell of decay and void that makes my stomach clench. It is stronger than the others, a focal point of the attack, their leader, and it is moving through the castle, not randomly, but with purpose. It is hunting. It is hunting us. I am herding Liam and a group of servants toward the relative safety of the old cellars when it finds us. The corridor darkens, the torches flickering and dying as a massive figure of pure shadow solidifies from the gloom. It is twice the height of a man, with long, grasping tendrils of darkness and a single malevolent point of red light for an eye. It does not look at the cowering servants. It looks at me, at Liam. I can feel its hunger, a desperate craving for the lunar energy that flows through our veins. It wants to consume our light. I push Liam behind me, my own power rising to meet the threat. Silver light flares around my hands. Go! I yell to the others. Get to the cellars. The Shadow Lord glides toward us, its movements unnervingly smooth. It raises a tendril of darkness. I prepare to unleash everything I have, knowing it might not be enough. Just as the creature strikes, a black-furred whirlwind slams into its side, throwing it against the stone wall. Kalen, in his massive alpha wolf form, stands snarling between me and the monster. His fur is bristling, his lips pulled back over teeth the size of daggers. His rage is a palpable force, a physical shield. The Shadow Lord recovers, hissing. It is more powerful than a normal alpha. It swats Kalen aside, sending him crashing into a suit of armor. He shifts back to his human form, blood trickling from a cut on his forehead. But he scrambles to his feet, placing himself between us and the Umbra once more. He knows he cannot beat it alone. He looks at me, his eyes filled with a desperate, terrible resolve, and then he does the unthinkable. In the middle of the battle, with the Shadow Lord gathering its power for another attack, Kalen drops to his knees. He bows his head, his hands flat on the floor. He submits, not to the enemy, to me. My life is yours, Lumia, he says, his voice ragged but clear, ringing through the corridor. My power is yours. It always was. I was too proud and too blind to see it. He looks up at me, his silver eyes stripped of all pride, all arrogance, leaving only raw, unconditional love and agonizing regret. He bares his throat. Forgive me. Accept me. Not for me. Do it to save our son. Take my strength. Use it. End this. This is his proof. This is the ultimate grovel. An alpha king, the most powerful wolf on the continent, kneeling to the wolfless maid he threw away. He is offering me his life force, his alpha power, his very soul, with no guarantee that I will not simply take it and let him die. It is an act of absolute trust, an act of complete surrender. It is happening in front of his remaining warriors, who have gathered at the end of the hall, their faces a mixture of awe and disbelief. He is publicly undoing his public rejection at the highest possible cost. My heart stops. My breath catches. The entire world seems to narrow to this man, on his knees, offering me his everything. My silver wolf, my inner beast, roars in triumph inside my mind. Ours. Claim. Make us whole. I look at his bared throat. I look at the terrifying monster gathering its power. I look at my son, hiding behind my legs, his silver eyes wide with fear. For 3 years, I have nursed my hatred, my pain. I built a fortress of ice around my heart and called it strength. But seeing him here, so utterly broken and devoted, so willing to sacrifice himself not for his kingdom, but for us, the ice doesn't just crack. It shatters. I see the man he was, the arrogant king who broke me, but I also see the man before me now, the humbled supplicant who has suffered, who has changed, who is willing to die for his son. I realize in that moment that forgiveness is not about erasing the past. It is about choosing a future. I can hold on to my pain and let us all be consumed, or I can accept this broken, beautiful, impossible gift and fight. I make my choice. I step forward past the last of my hesitation and place my hand over his heart. The skin is hot beneath my palm, his pulse a frantic, hopeful beat. I lean down, my lips close to his ear. I accept you, Kalen, I whisper, the words, a vow, a prayer. I accept this bond. The world explodes in light. It is not just my silver lunar energy, but a blinding torrent of gold, his raw alpha power, erupting from him and flowing into me. The broken ends of our bond fused together, not with a painful snap, but with a feeling of ecstatic wholeness. The constant, agonizing ache that has been my companion for 3 years vanishes, replaced by a warmth so profound it brings tears to my eyes. We are one. The power that flows between us is immense, a supernova of completed destiny. It is the power of a king and a queen, of the sun and the moon, of two halves made whole. I draw back, my body thrumming with this new shared power. Kalen is still on his knees, looking up at me with awe and a love so pure it takes my breath away. The Shadow Lord, momentarily stunned by the blast of light, lets out a furious screech and lunges. But we are not what we were moments before. I raise my hand, and a blade of pure, solidified moonlight appears in my grasp. Kalen rises, not as a supplicant, but as my shield. He moves with a renewed speed and strength, his body a bulwark of golden energy, deflecting the creature's shadowy blows. We move together, a seamless dance of darkness and light. He protects, I attack. His strength is my shield. My light is our sword. The connection between us is perfect. We move without words, our every thought, every instinct shared. The Shadow Lord cannot comprehend our combined power. It is a creature of solitude and hunger. It does not understand unity. It does not understand sacrifice. I drive my blade of light deep into its core. Kalen wraps his arms around me from behind, pouring his strength into me, into the blade, fueling the attack. Now, my love, he growls, his voice a possessive thunder in my ear. I unleash the full force of our joined power. A devastating wave of silver and gold energy erupts from the blade, from us. It does not just destroy the Shadow Lord, it purifies it. The darkness dissolves with a final agonizing shriek, leaving nothing behind but clean air and the scent of rain-washed stone. The remaining Umbra throughout the castle, their anchor gone, dissipate like smoke in the wind. The battle is over. Silence descends upon the corridor, broken only by our panting breaths. The gathered warriors stare, their weapons lowered, their faces full of awe. Kalen is still holding me, his heart thundering against my back. He slowly releases me and sinks to his knees again, bowing his head. The fight is won, but in his mind, his grovel is not over. He is still my supplicant. I look down at the mighty Alpha King kneeling at my feet, the man who holds the fate of a continent in his hands. I see the path forward, clear and bright. I offer him my hand. "Get up, Your Majesty," I say, my voice soft but firm. He looks up, his expression full of confusion. "Lumia, I... We are equals, Kalen," I state, leaving no room for argument. "You are not beneath me, and I am not beneath you. We rule together. We lead together. Or not at all." Understanding and a profound, bone-deep relief dawns in his beautiful silver eyes. He takes my hand, his grip strong and sure. The calluses on his palm feel like home against mine. He rises to his feet, standing before me, not as a king before a subject, but as a man before his mate, his equal, his other half. Together, he breathes the word a sacred oath. He lifts my hand to his lips and presses a reverent kiss to my knuckles. It is a kiss that speaks of 1,000 apologies, of endless gratitude, and of a future he will spend his life earning. 6 months later, I stand on the grand balcony of the castle, the same balcony Kalen stood upon when he saw his son for the first time. The sun is setting, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The kingdom is healing. The Umbra are gone, and the lands they blighted are slowly returning to life. The alliance of the Pax, forged in desperation, has held, creating a new era of cooperation and peace. Kalen comes to stand beside me, wrapping a strong arm around my waist and pulling me against his side. The bond between us is a gentle, constant hum of contentment and love. It is a quiet music that underlies every moment of our days. Liam, our son, sits at our feet, meticulously building a small castle out of wooden blocks. He chatters happily to himself, a sound that is more precious to me than any royal treasure. Kalen's fingers gently trace the faint, silvery line on the side of my neck, the scar left behind by his rejection. It is a mark that will never fully fade, a physical reminder of the pain we endured. His touch is not one of guilt anymore, but of reverence. It is a part of our story, the story of how we were broken and how we found our way back to each other, stronger than before. I still dream of the rain sometimes, I confess quietly, leaning my head against his shoulder. So do I, he murmurs into my hair, his voice thick with emotion. It will never be enough, but I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never feel that cold again. I will be your warmth, your shelter. He turns me to face him. His silver eyes, once so cold and haunted, are now filled with a light that is all for me. He is no longer just a king, and I am no longer just his mate. He is my partner, my confidant, my fiercest protector, and I am his conscience, his counsel, his anchor. We are a team, scarred but whole. Our happiness was not given. It was earned. It was forged in the fires of humiliation, tempered in the waters of suffering, and built on a foundation of forgiveness and hard-won trust. He leans down and captures my lips in a kiss that is both gentle and possessive, a kiss that speaks of a shared future, of raising our son, of rebuilding a kingdom, of a love that was destined, then destroyed, then reclaimed. It is a happy ending, but a real one that acknowledges the darkness of the journey it took to get here. We are not a fairy tale. We are a testament to the fact that even the deepest wounds can heal, and that true strength is not the absence of scars, but the courage to wear them with grace. The ache is gone, replaced by a love as vast and enduring as the night sky. I am home,